Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Arbitrage Q&A this Saturday. I'm happy to be here, and I hope that you can that you're ready to learn and you're ready to have a good time here today with me. Today, I'm gonna be talking about 8 steps to create a successful Amazon FBA business. I'm gonna be sharing some of the tips that I've learned on my last 3 years of doing business on Amazon. I hope this information helps you and encourage you to create, to work on these steps. I know a lot of you are already doing this, and I think this is important. That way, you can start thinking about, about this as a business. And sometimes we forget because we just want to, try to see if we can make another sale, or we can make our first sale, or just, get to our first goals. But I think if you think all the time about these 8 steps, it's going to help you in your business. So I want to see if I can have, if I have people here. I want to welcome everybody. So if you guys want to type on the chat, if you're already here, let me know and I can say hi. If not, and then I'm going to start going through my presentation so you guys can take notes or just learn from this step. So let me see. There's nobody typing questions yet or saying hi yet. That's okay. I'm gonna go into my presentation. I hope you guys are ready. I have my coffee here, my little cup of coffee. So we're gonna start and we're gonna go to the presentation. So the first thing is I want to talk about the 8 steps to create a successful Amazon FBA business. And the first one for me, when I started this business, one of the things that I wanted to do was um, I wasn't really paying attention to this, but I think it's very important, and it's defining a budget, even if it's just $20 a week, $50 a week, $100 a week. We need to think about defining a budget. That way, we know how much money we can invest and how much money we have to put into the business. How much capital do we have to put into the business? And I think a lot of us don't think about these things too much, because, like, again, we're trying to start the business. We're trying to come up with good products. We're trying to learn how to find products, and we really forget about, okay, what is the budget going to be for my business? How much money I'm gonna be spending every day or every week or every month in order to grow my business? And we have to be thinking about a business. Even if it's just a few sales a month, you have to be thinking about a business. And every business, you need to have a budget. You need to know how much money you're going to be spending every month in order to grow your business. So I think for me, this is very important. I didn't do it at the beginning. At the beginning, we were just throwing money and buying this and that. And some weeks we're going to be really, really good for buying. But then we will have some weeks where we were trying to figure out how to do different things, how to learn a little bit more. And we realized that having a budget was going to give us that constant growth on our business, because we knew how much money we could spend this week, and it also helped us with our goals. So we wanted to get to $5,000, we wanted to get to $10,000, but in order to get to those goals, we need to be investing, we need to be buying product, we need to be sourcing, and so defining that budget from the beginning will give you an estimate of how fast you're going to be reaching your goals. So I think that's very important, and we have to be thinking about that all the time for our business. Second is create goals for prep and ship. This is another point that I think is very important, because, again, when we're starting up, even if we're sending a lot of inventory, we sometimes will send a lot of inventory, and then in one day or 1 week, and then we will not send any inventory for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And the reason why is because we don't have a goal, we don't have a plan of how do we want to run the business. And I know a lot of you guys are probably still working full time, you have families, you have kids. So having a goal of how many units you're going to prep and ship every week, it helps you a lot to kind of organize your life, organize your business, put everything in a way where you have control of that part, and it's not always running, always stressed, always trying to do it at midnight, because that's going to happen to a lot of us. And at the beginning, I think having those, taking the time to go and start um, start writing down these goals, putting them in paper, knowing, okay, I'm gonna prep and ship 25, 50 units a week, and I'm gonna take Thursday night, or I'm gonna take Saturday afternoon to do that process. And then I'm gonna spend $500, so I need to start sourcing 2, 3 days a week, or I'm gonna just go one day a week. So all of this helps you organize your life, your family, your kids around how do you do the business. The nice thing about our business is that we can plan our business around everything. For me, it's being around trying to fit traveling, trying to fit spending time with the family. So we plan our business around that. And for us, it's very important to be able to travel and make plans. But we know that when we're traveling, we're gonna be running our business around that goal of us. So it's always being knowing when are we gonna ship, if we're gonna be shipping or in prepping, if we're gonna use a prep center, if we're gonna use VAs, all of that. It's well planned that way. It gives us that time that we want to to be able to travel and go different places and visit family. So I think it's very important to create goals every week or every day if you need to, on how to prep and ship, when you're going to be prepping and shipping the product. But you need to know, okay, this week, this specific time block, it's going to be for prep and ship, and product is going out every week to grow the business and grow the inventory. So let's see. Number three is selecting a niche and a micro niche. And I know a lot of you guys follow the recommendations that I give on the training, on the group, about selling shoes and selling clothing. But I know there's other niches, first of all, and then also sometimes one niche doesn't work for one people or for one person, but it might work for another person. For example, in my case, the niche of shoes and clothing has been working very well for me for the last 3 years now. And, we sell a lot of shoes, we sell a lot of less clothing, but we mainly sell shoes and clothing, and we're trying to find other niches all the time. But for me, that model works. I don't worry about returns. I don't worry about the customer support for those customers. The small customer support we have to give them. And I know a lot of people are worried about returns. They stress about all of these things that category, the negatives that category has for some people. For me, are positives. For me, I like that. The profit margins are great, but I know not everybody is going to be that niche is not for everybody. So you have to define what is the niche that you like. What is the niche that you feel good, that you enjoy, and then within that niche you can start looking for micro niches. And in my case, again, when we started doing shoes, we started doing every kind of shoes. And we were sending very high-end shoes, we were sending dress shoes, we were sending party shoes. and we started getting a lot of returns. And we started figuring out these kind of people that buy these kind of shoes, they will wear the shoes for one night, one big event, very, very expensive, $200-300 shoes. They will buy them, wear them for one event, and then return them. And so we figured out, okay, these, within the shoe niche, we know that this segment of the niche is not for us. So we started looking for which was our micro niche. We end up finding that athletic shoes are always going to be a great niche. And then we started figuring out within the athletic niche, we found that one brand or two brands are the ones that sell more for us. Even though there's returns, we're able to turn them and make good profit. So we were able to find those micro niches within that big niche. Now you can do the same thing with other niches. You can do the same thing with clothing. You can do the same thing with groceries. You can do the same thing with books. You can do the same thing with bras, equipment, sports, outdoors. You can do this with every niche, as long as you understand, and even if you don't have experience, as long as you start understanding that niche and you start finding those pockets, those micro niches that are going to be good for you. So that's very important. I think at the beginning it's really hard because you don't really know what you can sell. You don't really know what sells the most. But one exercise that I always recommend is when you're starting up, just start trying to send anything that you can, anything that you can scan and you can sell. Just send it over to Amazon, and then once you start making sales, so let's say you send 25 units, and then you start getting 2, 4, 5, 6 sales. What I like to do is I go to those sales, I see what kind of products are selling, and then I start looking for those products. Okay, so if I send different categories, home and kitchen, I send sports and outdoors, I send shoes, I send clothing, and I see that the items from sports and outdoors are selling, I'm gonna start focusing on those a little bit more, so I can find more of those items, and I can see if I can buy more. And then if I can buy more of sports and outdoors, I'm gonna start looking for stores that have those kind of products. So maybe I'm not going to Walmart, but I'm going to Academy, more. And if I go to this store, Academy store today, maybe tomorrow I go to this other Academy store, and then I start focusing on those items, and I start finding those micro niches. And that's the way we've been able to find that micro niche within our niche, and then just follow that and just keep sourcing those kind of items, and then finding those micro niches. So I think doing that exercise at the beginning, it's a little bit hard because you don't have a lot of products. But if you've been selling for a long time, one thing that you can do is you can go to your reports on your inventory reports, go to your sales, and start looking what kind of ASINs are selling the most, or what kind of ASINs are selling faster. So for example, if you on that report, you can see when do you send the product, when do you sold it, or when do you sell it. So you can start looking, okay, these products are taking a month and a half or 2 months to sell, but this one is taking 2 weeks, and this one is taking a few days. So I'm gonna start looking for those. And it's almost like studying your sales reports and understanding your sales reports so you can source better products. So that's one exercise that even if you're new, you can start doing. But if you've been selling for a little while and you're struggling, or you feel like you're hitting a ceiling and you cannot go to the next step, whether it's 15,000, 20,000, 40,000, learning what kind of products you have on your inventory, understanding the ranks that you have on your inventory, it's gonna give you a better idea of what kind of products you should be looking every day and sourcing. So working on selecting that niche and micro niche is very important for your business. And if you start implementing these steps, you're gonna see a little bit of a more easy way to build your business, because you're focusing on the business, on growing your business. So let me see. Number 4. Number 4 is finding related brands for what you already sell. And I think that this ties up a little bit with what I was talking about before. When you find one item that is selling very, very well, let's just say I'm gonna keep going back to my my niche because I I know a little bit more about that, and it's hard for me to talk about groceries in this case. I put a grocery a picture of sodas of all, but in my case, when we found that Nike was selling really good for us, and I know Nike is not open for everybody, but specifically athletic shoes, Nike running shoes, all these different types of shoes within the athletic niche. Okay, we figured out there's gotta be other brands that sell the same kind of items. So we went and we started looking at Adidas. We started looking at other brands, and now we have we don't we sell a lot of Nike, but we do sell other brands that are the similar products that we're selling, but we're selling different brands. So finding related brands of what you already sell is going to allow you to start increasing. And I know we have members in the community that focus on a very, very micro niche, but but it's working so good because they know, okay, these kind of shoes. I just spoke with a member of the community in Spanish. He's selling a very specific type of shoe now. I think he has two or three micro niches, but are very like it's like shoes for dancing for dancing people, or shoes that are made with this material. And they're very expensive shoes. It's a very small niche, but every sale he generates is like $40 profit, 80-90% profit. The ranks are a little bit higher, but he found that niche where he's the only one, or out of maybe one or two different sellers, and everything they're sending to Amazon, it sells right away. So finding those niches and then finding related brands within that niche, it's a very good strategy, because it allows you to keep expanding your inventory. And for some people, the way I see my business is I do want to have a very wide pool of products, and then I only go 1, 2, 3, 5 deep on each product. But there's some people that they sell only 25 or 30 or 50 products, and they just they sell 5 or 10, and they just keep replenishing those. They just keep looking for those kind of products. And we have a member here of the community that it's been doing awesome. I think $30,000-$40,000 a month with a very specific niche, in a very, very micro niche. So when you start thinking about these little things and start expanding, just looking for different brands, you can build a big business without having thousands of products, which is the other approach that I do. So I think thinking about this and just always keeping in mind, okay, if I'm selling this product, what are other brands that are selling the same kind of product that I can sell, and just have a list. Keep track of different brands that you can sell that are going to be good for your business. All right, so I think we already have a few people in. So welcome everybody. Today I'm talking about 8 different steps to creating a successful Amazon business. I'm going on number 4 right now. We're gonna keep going, and then if you guys have any questions, we'll cover those after the presentation. So let me go to the presentation, and I want to see number 5. Okay, number 5. Number 5 is always be seeking approval for new brands and products. And I know this is very frustrating for everybody. We all are, frustrated by this process. We're always, asking for brand approval or product approval, and sometimes it's hard. But let me tell you, at the beginning, it's always going to be hard. There's, Amazon is always going to be restricted on a lot of things that you know that you're finding products, and you should be able to increase your sales if you could sell this brand. But you don't, you just have to keep always trying. We do have a list in the training. I think it's 153 different brands. Those are brands that I've been able to get instant approval. So every time I get instant approval, I put it in that list, and then I share that list with you guys. And again, at the beginning, it's gonna be you ask for approval for that list, that 150 list of products. Nobody's gonna give you. Amazon is not gonna approve any of them. You keep selling the products that you can sell, and then a month later, or 5 weeks, 6 weeks later, you ask again, and then some of them are gonna get approved. Because why? Because now you have you're building your sales history, and Amazon is seeing that you're selling more, and you're establishing your metrics and everything. So Amazon starts approving some of them. And then over time, of course, this list of 153, it's only a small list of millions of products that you can be applying. But you can, there's something you can start with that list, and then you can be expanding. And every time you find something that you cannot sell, request approval. If you don't get approval, just put it on your list and start building that list. And every time, every month or month and a half, Saturday afternoon, you just go plug in all of those ASINs and request approval. Amazon is not gonna penalize you for requesting approval. It's just a process that you have to do over and over. But I think this is a very important point, because we forget sometimes that we need to be requesting approval for some brands. And if we do it often enough, not every day or every week, but if you do it every 4 weeks, and you just go through that process as part of your business, as part of your building your business, you're gonna start getting open up on some of the brands, and it's gonna start, you're gonna be able to start reaching out to other things. So I think just keeping that in mind, and just being reminded of, okay, I have to get, today I'm gonna get approval, request approval for my list. And I'm gonna do that, and I'm just gonna, do that until I finish. And it might take you, 45 minutes, a few hours, but it's worth for your business, because you're trying to build a business doing these little things. So number 6 is understanding the locations of your sourcing stores. And I think this is very important, because when you're doing retail, if you guys are doing retail, even if you guys are doing online, I think it's important to understand what kind of stores you're gonna be sourcing, because again, at the beginning you're gonna do any store, even the little mom and pop stores. You want to go there, you want to scan, you want to see if you can find items, and sometimes you're gonna find good items, but you wanna start understanding in your market. You want to start understanding what are the stores that I need to be scanning all the time. And for example, if you're gonna be going all over the place, like on that map, if you're going to the south, to the north, to the east, to the west, it can become a really hard job. And the main goal for us is we don't want to have a job. We want to enjoy building a business. And if you have that mindset, you're always going to be enjoying the journey. If you just thinking about this is a hard job, or this is a hard thing to do, you're never going to enjoy that business. And you have to think about your mindset, and just try to change it to, okay, I'm gonna go to 3 stores today. I'm gonna enjoy having that, doing this trip. Even if I don't find anything, I'm learning. So it's a process that I'm gonna enjoy, because I'm building a business. It's not what I'm doing today is I'm doing a business for the long run. So you have to start understanding the locations of all your sourcing stores. If you're gonna be going to the north, this week or for this trip, you need to know which stores you're gonna be looking for. You need to know, okay, I have a pocket of stores or locations on the north. I have a pocket of locations on the south. I'm gonna plan to do those trips, and I'm gonna start going in an organized way, because uh, sometimes you might need to, to go to the north, go to the south, but that's when you have a product that is selling very well, and you need to, you need to keep replenishing it, and that's a good thing. I think I've told you guys the story of, maybe 3-4 months after we started, we found a product. It was a soccer football, a soccer ball, um, for a Mexican. I don't know how do you call it, but it was a tournament in Mexico that happens every year, and that year it was going on, that few months, when we found that the soccer ball that they were using for that tournament. So a lot of people were buying those online. They were buying it for $32.99. We were buying it for $15. No, it was $10, $9.99, and the second one half off. So we were paying like $15 for two soccer balls, and they were, we I think the first time we bought like two or three. We send them, and it's sold within hours of, after it was available on Amazon. So my wife told me, oh, we sold this, and they were just available this morning. So we went back to that store. I was still driving my truck, so she told me about this, and then she went to the store. She was able to buy five, because the managers didn't want to sell more than five to one person. So she went to that store, and then she drove like 40 minutes to another store, bought another five, and then we sent those over, and they sold right away. So, and maybe for a period of 2 or 3 weeks, she was going to the same stores like almost every other day, buying five, 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 and they were sending like 20, 25 soccer balls every time, and they would sell right away as soon as we send them. And we end up selling about 125 units of that product until, that tournament ended. And but those are situations where you do want to, even if you're running around and spending time on driving to the stores, that product is selling very well, and you have a very good profit margin, so you do those things. But if you're doing your sourcing every week, you don't want to go in the morning to the north and then drive an hour to the south, unless you're doing that for a whole week, one trip for a whole week. But if you're going to be doing small trips, you don't want to be driving around. So you want to understand the locations of all of your stores, and then tied out to that point. The next point is, you want to plan your daily, weekly, and monthly routes. So if you have different pockets of locations in your area, you want to start planning. How is my route gonna look this week? I'm gonna go, on Tuesday, I'm gonna go to this area and source in these different stores. And then, on Saturday, I'm gonna go to this other area, and I'm gonna source these different stores. And I'm not gonna be going to all of the stores, because I already kind of know what kind of products I'm looking for. So I'm gonna hit these stores. And if you have all of this planned out, it makes it easier on yourself. It makes it easier on your schedule, and it allows you to again enjoy that process. And I know people like Eric and other people that have kids. They do a trip where they enjoy the time with the kids. They even get them involved in scanning and looking for products, and kind of teaching them how to do sourcing, but in a fun way, where you can combine it with a family sourcing trip. And it's just a couple hours, you find something, you bring it back, or you go to a couple different stores, have lunch with your family. So you want to do that. And we started doing that with my wife, and then as our business grow, we kind of took it to the next level, where I've shared this with you guys before, to the point where every time we do a big sourcing trip outside the city, we live in Atlanta, Georgia. We're here now in Atlanta for now. I was in Austin last month, and now I'm here. But we usually go from Atlanta drive down south to Florida, to Jacksonville. We stay there for a day. We source there. There's one big shopping mall where we have a lot of stores there. We source there, and then we stay there that day. And then the next day we drive down to Daytona Beach. There's another big outlet mall there, and a few different stores that we drive to, mainly for shoes. We purchase there, and then we go to Orlando. In Orlando, we source for 2 or 3 days. There's about 4 different outlet malls, and then a lot of other stores that we hit. As long as we have space, in our car or our van, we just keep sourcing, and then we stay in Orlando for 1 or 2 days. We go to one of the parks, or we go to do different activities there. So we're taking time to enjoy that trip. It's not just sourcing, and then getting tired and then coming back. It's sourcing, enjoying the trip, stay in Orlando, and then we go to Tampa. There's another 2 big outlet malls there. We go to those. We try to buy as much as we can. There's a lot of stores that you can go besides the outlet malls, but we try to hit those first because we find a lot of products. And then once we have that, if we haven't found anything where enough for us to call it a trip, we still go down to Miami. Miami have a whole bunch of other stores and outlet malls as well. And then we start driving back, and then we stop here in Georgia at one outlet mall that is in the south, and usually we just come back. And that trip, it takes us a whole week to kind of go through the whole process, come back. But we had a couple of days off. We enjoyed the trip. We don't we don't just rush it and make it a complicated stressful sourcing trip. It's just a week off, working, enjoying the time together, and then we come back, and then it takes us another week to prep, ship everything, and that gives us enough inventory to sometimes not do any sourcing for 3, 4, 5 weeks, because we source a lot. So even though we're doing it at a big scale process, you can still do the same thing in your area, in your different pockets of stores. Just have to have that plan. You have to plan those trips and make sure that you can make them. And then number 8, let me see what the time. Okay, so we're good on time. Create a list of new brands that you can be on the lookout. And again, I'm always trying to focus on finding that niche and the micro niche. So when I'm looking for the brands that I know I need to buy for my niche, I'm always looking for new brands. And that's what I was telling you this week. I was talking to somebody else that found a niche. They shared that niche with me, and guess what? I'm gonna start looking for that niche, because I know I might be able to buy a few more units a week or a day that I wasn't sourcing before, and they have good profit. Of course, I have to be a little bit flexible with the ranks, because it's not a very fast selling rank. Like I have some shoes that have 10,000, 15,000 rank and lower. They sell very fast. But even if I go to 150, 200,000 on that niche, that micro niche, I might still be able to do good numbers based on the experience that this other member is having, and they're doing they're doing good sales at a lower pace, but they're doing selling very well. So you always want to be looking to create that list of brands that you're gonna find new things all the time. You're gonna find new items. So you want to be always paying attention on that, and just making sure that you find something, you add it to your list, and this is the list of brands that I'm always looking for. But at the same time, that also helps you decide or it helps you find brands that you don't want to sell. Like if you're getting a brand that is sending you a lot of cease and desist letters, I just going across that brand from my list, and I tell all the people that we work with, do not buy this brand because that it's going to be a headache. You don't want to have that brand in your inventory. They're always sending letters. So you have that list where you add brands, but you also take brands away, or take brands off, so you can have that clean list of inventory. So those are the eight steps to creating a successful Amazon FBA business. I'm gonna give you a bonus step. I think this is very important because I understand at the beginning when I started, I was very frustrated at the beginning. It took me like 2-3 months to really understand the business. Once I understood the business and I saw that I was selling, I started just cranking up my business. I started investing a lot of money. And one thing that I know, uh, if I can give you a tip, is don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is a hard business. Nobody is saying it's an easy business. And if you hear somebody saying this is easy, run the opposite way. It is a hard business, but it's a very rewarding business. We always talk about the benefits that we have doing the business. And it's a hard business, but it's gonna be a hard business for just the learning curve. For me now, I don't find it hard, and I can buy a lot of products, and I know where to buy, and I have my niche, and I can I it feels very easy for me, but it's not easy. It's something that you have to learn. The nice thing about it is that once you learn the process, once you understand and you know what kind of products to buy, it becomes a little bit easier to manage and to scale. And once you start scaling up and you have enough income, enough profits from your sales that you can say, okay, I can replace this for this and then double this in half time. So for example, let's say that your goal is to make $3,000 a month. Once you're making $3,000 a month on your Amazon business, and you're doing it part-time, or you're doing it, you have a full-time job. If you focus 100% on your business, you can double to 6,000 very, very fast. It's not going to take you the same amount of time that took you to get to 3,000, because if you focus 100% on that business, it's funny because I was I was working all day yesterday. I had a lot of meetings and a lot of things for coaching, but I also, I did a lot of things for my Amazon business. I did sourcing. I talked to, all the VAs and everything. And then I end up talking to somebody about the Amazon FBA business until 2 in the morning. And, a lot of people will say, at 9 o'clock, I don't want to touch the computer. I want to talk about FBA or Amazon. I'm just done. And for me, it's I always tell people, I feel like I haven't been working for the last 3 years, because having a conversation for 3 hours about building your Amazon business, it's not work. But this conversation and this connection that I'm making, it's going to allow me to grow my business even bigger, because I'm trying to learn other strategies. I'm trying to learn things that are working for people that are doing 10 times more than me. And it's just part of the business, part of the work, and you don't have to do it all the time. But if that happens, I feel very energized, because I spend 2-3 hours with this person that I know I'm going to learn a lot from him, and is opening the door for me to ask questions and learn other processes or other strategies. But in my mind, if I was just thinking about the Amazon business as another job, and something else that I have to do, and I have to replace this job for this other job, I wouldn't probably enjoy it. But because I'm enjoying building this business, it feels like it's not hard work. I hope that makes sense. But my main point is this: don't give up. Don't ever give up. It's worth it. It's worth it for a lot of people, and you just have to keep working on it. And I hope this helps you guys, and encourage you guys to keep going. And another nice thing that you have is that you have the community to ask questions. We have, coaches that are doing the Amazon business that are being successful, and you have access to these people, and you're not alone, building the business. You have this community, and I hope that helps you guys. So let's see. I'm gonna answer some questions and see if there's any questions that we can go over. Hello, Jason. How are you? Vicky, Ben, how are you, man? Mike, Ben says, I've been implementing reverse sourcing and rabbit trail methods in the bonus section. Do you think using that method is better use in my? It's a better use of my time, or going out doing a lot of RA scanning? Well, it depends. For some people, online is very hard. I have one of the members that when he started doing arbitrage, and now he's one of the coaches for the Spanish community. He was doing 100% arbitrage, and then he became a coach, and I tried to teach him the online arbitrage, and just reverse sourcing and all of that. And every time he will sit on the computer, for 1 hour or 2 hours, he will call me and let me know, Alan, this doesn't work. It's not working. It's not happening. I'm not finding anything. So finally, I told him, what do you enjoy? Do you enjoy doing online arbitrage, or do you enjoy doing retail arbitrage? And to him, arbitrage is something that he understands. He finds products, and he enjoys that process. So my advice to him was, just do arbitrage, and stop doing online or just keep learning until you enjoy it. Otherwise, just focus on arbitrage. So guess what? His wife wasn't involved in the business, and his wife started. She's a graphic designer, so she kind of has a little bit more computer knowledge, I would say, maybe. But she started doing the same things, reverse sourcing, or the online arbitrage, and she started finding a lot of products. So they started sending me products, and do you think this is good? And I was like, yeah, this is good. All the numbers look good. Oh, my wife found it. So now he's doing full-time RA. She's doing part-time retail arbitrage, but their sales, they're going really, really high, to the point where he already is doing full-time. So he quit his job, and she's thinking about quitting her job, her graphic design freelance job, because she spends a lot of time doing graphic design, and then when she doesn't have anything to do, then she works on online. But they're making more money now on the online arbitrage than the graphic design. Graphic design is expensive here in the US. So I will say, Ben, if you enjoy that process, or if you want to learn the process to be able to enjoy and find, I think arbitrage online it's a very good use of your time, as long as you enjoy that process. But if you like retail arbitrage better, and you find more products right now, and your goal is to build the business a little bit higher, focus on arbitrage until you have the business to a point where it's making very good sales. It's bringing enough. You're hitting your goals, and then just start doing online on the side until you understand that process. But for example, for me, I like doing online arbitrage a lot better than retail. Every time I go to do retail, and I do retail with my wife. So, I don't go together by myself. We have to go together, because she enjoys that process, and she finds a lot of product, and I'm there to help her, and carry the things and everything. And I do, when I analyze them, I understand everything. But if you put me on the store just by myself and said, do some arbitrage, I will walk around for 30 minutes and go out and say, there was nothing here. But my wife, we fill out cards, and we buy a lot of stuff retail. But I'm here in my house, in my office, and I can buy $1,000 every day in the morning, and I enjoy that process a lot better. So it really comes down to online and retail are both good, but focus on the one that you enjoy the most, and also focus on the one that is bringing you more inventory at the moment, and then just learn the other process. If you enjoy doing online arbitrage, but it's not really it's not resulting in a lot of sourcing right now, just take time to learn that process, but keep doing arbitrage because that's the way that it's working. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if I answer your question. Chan says, "Are you listing your FBA items on eBay too? So, if so, what's your success rate on eBay?" I have tried it before. The only issue I have with my business, I know eBay sells very well. But the issue I have in my business is that I always buy 2 or 3 units of one item. So every time I try to do put my products on eBay, and I use Joe Lister to do that. That's the only software that I have tried it maybe 2 or 3 times in this past 3 years. So when I synchronize my account, every time I get a sale on eBay and I come back, or not every time, but it's very frequent that I make a sale on eBay, I come back to I get a notification and I look my inventory real quick, and I'm out of stock. And so if you do that, if you have to cancel orders very often because you're out of stock, eBay also can penalize you. So I don't have it synchronized most of the time because of that situation, because I only have a very limited amount of inventory, and Amazon sells a lot faster than eBay. When I have had my eBay account active, usually is 400-500 units on Amazon, maybe 150 to 200 units on eBay. I probably sell 3 or 5 units a month on eBay, and I sell 400 units on Amazon. So for me, it's never been a very good incentive for me to keep doing the eBay, because I get so low sales on that side that I rather focus on Amazon, and that's what I do. But I do know a lot. Okay, the guy that I was telling you that I spent a few hours last night talking to, he showed me his eBay account not yesterday, but maybe about a week and a half ago, and he sells for this year. It's $682,000 in eBay. So imagine on Amazon, he's probably doing 2 or 3 more times that. So eBay is good. eBay is well, but you need to, at the same time that you focus on Amazon, you have to pay attention to eBay and learn how to do the eBay stuff. And I haven't really learned how to do eBay the proper way. I have been focused on Amazon all the time, but I do know that eBay is a good market, and I should be spending more time on doing eBay, and hopefully I will do it soon. But right now, I'm not doing anything, Chan. Chances on average, how much do you spend sourcing per week? We spend about $4,000 to $5,000 a week right now in sourcing. So we were sending about $15,000 a month for about 2.5 years. That was our monthly sourcing to replenish our inventory. And right now we step it up to about 22,000 a month. So I have to spend 5,000 a week, and sometimes I don't spend 5,000 a week, but I would spend 10,000 or 12,000 in 1 week, and that gives me enough to for that month. But I do spend about 20,000 or 20 to 22,000 a month on inventory, and that's just to replenish what I'm selling. Because my total inventory, it's about 2.5 times more than that. So I have about I think last time I checked, I was $37,000 or $38,000 in inventory, but I'm always replenishing, that $15,000 to $20,000 every month. All right. Any other questions, guys? We still have a few minutes. What do you guys think about the 8 points that we just talked about? Do you think it's are you doing any of these points? Are you planning your trips? Are you paying attention on all of these? Have you found your niche? Have you guys found your niche? Not shoes, just because I say shoes, but have you really found your niche? Let me know so we can help you understand those points if you have any questions. All right. So I think it's a good session. I hope that helped you guys, and encourage you to keep growing and keep going and keep learning and keep organizing your business, and really treat this as a business, because it's gonna give you enough money to work full time. It's gonna give you enough money to have more time, have more margin, have more time with your family, as long as you keep moving and keep growing the business. So I don't see any more questions. So I hope you guys had a good time with me today. I hope you guys are learning a lot, and just keep going, keep growing your inventory, keep learning, and keep applying and taking action. The best thing for your business to grow is that you take action on everything that you're learning. So don't just take this time to watch the video or just be here, but make sure that even if it's just one point that you can apply in your business, as long as you're taking action and you're doing it, that's going to help you grow the business. And everything is going to reflect on your sales. I was in a webinar yesterday, and one of the members was asking, I have inventory, I have the repricer on, I have my advertising campaigns on, and I'm not making any sales. Why? That was pretty much the question. So I started asking her questions. What is the quality of your inventory? And she didn't know. And I wasn't trying to put her, in a spot or trying to, put it down. My point was that we always focus on one thing, and sometimes we forget about other things. So it's not just sending inventory to Amazon; it's sending good quality inventory. You guys know it. I've talked about this before. Eric talks about this on the training. It's good quality inventory, and I don't mean this is good quality and it's a good brand. No, I mean low ranks, average ranks that are selling very good profit margin. If you're sending items and you're selling items, but you're making $1 per item, it's going to be very hard to scale. But if you're making $5, $7, $10, $15 per sale, you only need 10 or 12 or 15 sales a day to make $150 in profit. And if you do that constantly for a whole month, that's a good income. So you have to see you have to know the big picture, but you also have to know the details. So for me, it's always my goal. It's always been, I need to make $10 average per sale, and I need to make 10 sales a day. That's my goal. If I can do that, I can cover all my expenses, and I can keep doing this full time, and I can keep working with Seth and doing videos and helping and being a coach and everything. But I need to do that in my business in order to cover my expenses. And sometimes you kind of have to bring it down to a level where you know these details, so you feel comfortable every day because you're hitting the small goals every day. Let me see. Ben says, I haven't found a niche. Yes, but it makes sense. I'll be applying this. Okay, awesome, Ben. Yeah, it's all. For me, sometimes it's just taking the time, even if it's, if it's just, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day, and just taking the time and think about this as a business, and think about the things that you should be doing as a business. I know I was making a joke with a couple of friends that we were just talking about something, and they were saying, man, I'm so happy that you get to have your own business now. And I was like, well, I always have I always been, an entrepreneur. So I haven't worked for a company in a very, very long time. But I was telling them, just joking, I was telling them, well, I was trying to get rid of, when I started creating my own businesses, I was trying to get away from a very from a bad boss, but I end up having the worst boss in the world, which is me. But it was just a joke that I was making. But in reality, when we are entrepreneurs, sometimes, we all we think is about, oh, I don't have a boss, I don't have a job, I don't have, I don't have to report to anybody. But in reality, if you think that way, you're gonna forget that you have to run a business. And to run a business, you have to be disciplined. You have to think about all of the things that are required to run a business. So you have to think about finances. You have to think about all of these. And for me, some of the things are, I'm not good at it, so I always delegate to those things. Finances, accounting, I'm not good at that, so I always delegate. Opening up LLCs, opening up, business, taxes, all of that, I delegate that because I'm not good at it. But if I was just always thinking about, oh, I'm an entrepreneur and I don't have to report to anybody, maybe my finances wouldn't be good. So now I have to be even a worse boss, because I have to be thinking about, all these 100 different things. But in a way, as long as you're thinking about these and just putting them in action one by one, it allows you to have a more freedom, because you don't have somebody to report but yourself, and you have to report to yourself, and that's very important. So Mike says, I need to find a niche. I sell all over the place. I really need to learn how to use the reports on Amazon. Yeah, just go to the report, see all of your sales, and you can even download that report to your to like a Google spreadsheet, or you can just go and look at all of the ASINs that you have, all of the ones that have sold, and just study them, look at the products that are selling, look at the created day, look at the sold day, understand that you really need to understand your that part of the business, because you're gonna start finding, oh, you know what, I didn't really think about this product, but it's sold right away, so let me go and look for that product again. And maybe I don't find that product, but looking at that area, I might find other products. And if I don't have that brand, but I find the same brand, the same product with a different brand, maybe that brand sells, and maybe that brand sells more or has better margin. Or maybe I don't find it on this store, but I'm gonna go to this other store that sells the same products. So you start thinking about it, and you start focusing and paying more attention to those details. And then I talk to so many people, in the groups, and a lot of people, and I know sometimes some people like Tim. He's the one that teaches. He teach the group about reverse sourcing. I have been selling for almost 3 years, like 2.5 years, before I learned about reverse sourcing. And when I learned that process, I was like, how I didn't think about this before. And he's doing amazing numbers every month, working a full-time job. And all he does is reverse sourcing. So I know that you can do it. I know that it's a good strategy. but for 2.5 years I never thought about it, and nobody told me about that strategy. So you're always learning new things, and if you apply them, then you're gonna have success. You're gonna start learning and going over, and growing your inventory. So yes, just finding a niche, understanding your inventory, understanding how to run it, and how to source your products is gonna be a big benefit for you guys. And as long as you start, oops, there you go. As long as you start doing it today, it's gonna help you in your business. So I hope you guys enjoyed this time. It's 10 o'clock. I hope you guys um, enjoy this time, and I'll see you guys in the next webinar. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be doing the next webinar, but I'm gonna be more active in doing webinars with you guys more often. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you guys enjoy sourcing and enjoy building your business. And if you have any questions during the week, let us know on the Facebook group. We'll be there to help you out. So have a great weekend, guys. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.